Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby. I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How expensive do I have to be? I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay, I didn't even put myself into the broadcast. I was sitting here staring at the screen. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. Who am I? Where am I? No, I'm kidding. Better quit playing. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris, and welcome to today's installment. Like I said, it's the 18th day of May already. Can you believe it? Almost June, almost June. I'm so happy singing a tune. There you go. Yeah, so let me throw that on there. How you like that? So how's everybody doing? How is your week thus far? We just got started. Today's Tuesday. I had fun yesterday. It was a busy day. You know what? I think it was all that rain and stuff over the last week or so, but yesterday I was dragging booty. I'm not kidding. I was like, so I got up. They came with the mulch yesterday. Yay. We did our deck and got all the flowers and stuff out and in the ground this year without putting them in so early. They freeze, which I've done every year. What else did I do? Oh, I turned my soil. Well, I'd already turned it. I'm going to have a little victory garden this year. I'm going to try that for the very first time ever. And so I have the little plot all done, and I took all the rocks and roots and weeds out. Then yesterday I put some kind of organic topsoil on it, and then worm castings. Do you know what those are? I didn't. I watched a video. Worm castings is really, how do I put it? It's just so technical. I don't know how to explain it to you non-gardeners, you laymen, you lay people. Worm castings. Oh, worm poop. There you go. Is that plain enough? Yeah. So I spread that out and I mixed it all under. And so I'm contemplating, if you've ever had a garden, give me some clues here, some help. I saw one video where they said put plastic over it after you've turned it to let it solarize. I guess the sun does something to it and boom, boom, boom. So anyway, I am going to get my seeds. I'm not putting any little plants in. I'm going straight from seeds for this first time. I'm an overachiever. I'm stretching. I'm reaching high. And we'll see what happens. I'll keep you up on that. I'll take some pictures as they begin to grow and flourish and then are the envy of the entire neighborhood. That's not my motive at all. Just because I love to win the Christmas light contest and I love to win the best yard contest. But this has nothing to do with any of that stuff at all. That's the bell of purpose, which means it, well, in this case, it rang right after a lie, because I do care about all that. I'm very competitive. But really what the bell of purpose means, it's everyone's opportunity, including mine, for us to be a part of something greater than ourselves. It means that someone has said something, we're talking about something that's just too good to pass up. So I want you to pay close attention, lean in, listen up when you hear the bell ring. And then at this point, please help me welcome to the show. You know who she is. Look at her. Got her roots done the other day. She's looking good. This is my sidekick, my version of Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. And we are drinking on 1 cup a day, my new thing. 1 cup a day of, and today it is salted caramel again. I can't help it. I just love salted caramel coffee just because of the name. So anyway, so I know I told you yesterday that we had Ren here, my friend Renford, who is has just landed a role on the new show, not new show, but on a new role on the show Ozarks. But unfortunately, we have to reschedule him for a couple weeks down the road because of an unexpected funeral that he has to attend. So our prayers, light, and love go out to Renford and the family of whomever they are celebrating today. So, so instead, you know, I can always call my guy Brendan Neely. Brandon, I'd love to get him here. I just can never catch that wife of his, Amanda. She works and she has a lot of things going on. But Brandon and his wife, you might remember, are the founders of Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, which they help people find their way, dig their way out of debt and how to invest, and especially in these tenuous times. So I get Brandon back from time to time, and I love him because he steps up when I need him. So he's here today to impart some financial wisdom. So if you've got any questions regarding your finances, how to increase them or save them or invest them or whatever the case may be, this is the guy. So let's just quit playing around and I'll get him in here. So put your hearts on the screen, put your hearts into the live stream, and let's get something done here. Let's pour into each other, shall we? Here he comes, everyone. Brandon Neely from Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. You know, I want to get Grandma on here. Where is she? Is she still with us?
Oh, she's downstairs. Yeah.
In the same house as you?
My mother-in-law, is that what you're saying?
Is that the grandma you named it after?
Oh, no. So definitely not after her, but kind of the way we got the name Grandma's Wealth Wisdom was thinking about, you ever watched Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
You know, you ever seen Howard's mom on the show?
Now you got me, because I don't know. I only know that one guy.
So
Howard
is the Jewish character, and his mom is really loud, and you know she's there. However, you never see her. You've never see her in the whole show ever.
Okay.
But you know she's almost like a silent character there. Well, that actually not silent because you can hear her very well. So when we thought about as we were creating this business, who is our Yoda, who is our guide that we would follow, grandma's wealth was kind of the idea, right? And so we also thought that this is kind of looking at this past few generations, that maybe wisdom skipped a generation. So
Huh?
does that make sense? Sometimes wisdom skips a generation.
I hope not. Not a whole generation now.
Possibly. I mean, you think about it. You were talking about gardening, right?
Yeah.
How many people do you know that garden?
A lot on this cul-de-sac. That's why I'm getting in on it.
So a
I'm tired of
few,
being left out of the
but
club.
typically when it comes to gardening and growing your own food, we don't do that
Yeah.
anymore, right? We want, and I was thinking about this a lot. We love our fast food culture. We love to
Oh,
get
no, we
everything
don't.
super
Speak
quick,
for
right?
yourself.
You don't think so?
I
Most people. Most,
well, I'm sure there is because the lines are always long
yeah.
there. But I
Our
bet it's not
culture,
old people like me because I ain't trying to go out like that.
our culture is a fast food culture. We want
True.
we want to invest in something and get our return in 2 seconds before we
I
even
knew
put
this
money
was
in.
a tie-in. I
It's
said,
great.
that's a far reach. You talking about not very many, but you're like, I'm going with it. So
Yep.
okay, so I get it. I get it. I see what's happening here. But
Right?
well, yeah, but we eat healthy, and I know where I want to start. I know exactly where I
Where
want
do
to
you want
start.
to? Yeah.
I want to start with households that have more than one income in them, not meaning the kids or someone like in your home, your mother-in-law, but
Yep.
let's say couples or roommates or people who have to build off of the collective income in order to
Mhm.
make everything work. So my question is it fair? Here's the first question. Is it fair, and I'm using this house as an example, that I have no problem with it, and he claims he doesn't either, where there's one person that handles all of that. I just go by the leads of what, because he has his little hints that he lays about leave that credit card alone, quit putting stuff on
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
do this or do that, or that look on his face, or what are you doing, honey? Paying bills. I know that's a sketchy month, but if I call upstairs, I go, honey, what are you doing? I hear, oh, nothing, just paying a few bills. There's a like shrill at the end. I know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're ahead this month. I can really tell for real. And plus, if I don't catch it, Ethel and Lucy, the cats, if he's up there doing bills and I'm on
Mhm.
my way up, they'll just lay right in front of me like, turn back. Trust
Yep.
us. You don't want to go up there.
Yep. Well,
Everybody knows. So what is it about that time of the month, Brandon, that causes so much anxiety for people? We're always going to have to pay bills, but is there ever a place where you can just do it and go without being independently wealthy? Because what do they have to worry about? Well, probably other stuff, but you know what I'm saying. Is there ever a way to get to a point that no matter what, if you can't pay everything off, you still can feel good about what you are doing?
yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? That feeling that it's never going to end, you're always playing catch up. That is just anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. What can we do to create some balance in our financial worlds?
Well, I think the key, and I'll use like again, grandma's wealth wisdom, our strategies, and the way I kind of think about money in my business, and all of this, right? So the key is one, have conversations about it, right? Not just whenever it's a hard time of the month, and then have that blowout conversation that you're like, oh, great, I knew. But having those check-ins, my wife and I, we run a business together, so we have monthly money meetings. How are we doing? How are we tracking? It might be 5 minutes, it might be 25 minutes, and we kind of go through. And even though you might not like that conversation, it might be really helpful for your partner to feel like he's being heard, right? And I think having those conversations will alleviate a lot of pain, or quite frankly, divorces and all kinds of other things, right? Because the reason that a lot of people get divorces isn't it's a money thing often. That's a leading cause of divorce and breakups and things like that.
Okay, Captain Sunshine, I might have to turn this thing around. I'm gonna have to turn it around. Look, let me just say this. I know that a lot of us, including myself, listen, we need some start spreading the news type stuff today. Because listen, all of us, when we're talking about finances, it is like you might as well put that in the category with religion and politics. It's like, you know, if the bank, sometimes it feels just like going to visit somebody in jail or the hospital. And that's got to change. I want to skip to the loo, my darling, into the bank. I don't want to. I feel every time I'm going, I hear dum dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum. Seriously. Now I know a lot of that, because it's just recently started shifting, but a lot of that for me has always been a scarcity mindset. No matter what I have, it never seems like enough. The euphoria of the windfall or the extra money doesn't last that long.
The question to ask yourself, and this is what I think about the opposite of poverty. What is the opposite of poverty? Is it wealth, or is it? For me, I think of it as enough, living with enough, and knowing, hey, whatever I have is good. I don't need to keep up with the Joneses and get a bigger house and a bigger house and a bigger house.
Well, no.
But like knowing what brings me joy and budget for that.
Budget. Right? There's the word. Okay. You use the B word, so let's go with it. So let me ask you, let's hypothetically speaking, let's say I am $6,000 in debt today. Tomorrow, I get some money I didn't expect, a one-time windfall, let's say of $10,000. Let's say I'm $6,000 in debt. I get $10,000. What is the first thing I should do? Should I pay the whole six off? Should I pay half of the six of the debt or whatever the outstanding debt is, and then save some of what's left, and then go hog wild with whatever? Because see, that's the thing with me. When I'm just keep it real. When I get extra money, which it's never extra because there's always some place it could go. But in my world, which everybody's just visiting, I'm like, I'm getting ready to go buy me some jeans. I'm getting ready to order this, and and I don't do that all the time, Brandon. But when something like that happens, I feel like I deserve it, and I do it. But then I immediately start panicking after the money, and when I see they took it out, I'm like, uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? What is that? How do we create a system that doesn't come in and go out based on anything other than the steady income stream? You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds crazy, but that's why I'm bad for money.
I make a variable income, right? I can have a really big month, and then I can have I'm made zero, right? And I could then say, oh, I'm going to go buy a car now because I just made this amount of money. And then the next month I make $3,000, not including all the expenses of the business. I think that what you want to do, and this is another one of those naughty words that we don't like, is having healthy habits. So and I'm going to be real with this. So I stopped going to the gym because when I moved, COVID happened, and we moved here when COVID was in the heights, and I stopped doing all of the exercise stuff, the habits that I had formed. I was going to the gym 5-6 times a week, right? Eating right, all of that. Now, and I just started back to the gym. Actually, this morning was my day back.
Well, right? Welcome back.
But I after going to after our vacation, I looked and I was jumped on the scale, and I'm like, oh man, I am bigger than I've ever been. I need to make some changes, right? I need to do something different. Now I could watch and say, what's my shortcut? How can I not go to the gym, get my results without doing any of the work? The problem is it takes work to get to where we want to be, right?
True.
And there's only a couple things that you can do when it comes to your money and when it comes to your fitness. Less intake, spend less, right? Right? Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
either you spend less or
Yeah,
eat less
yeah,
calories,
whatever.
right? The same thing. Or make more. I can make more money, which can bring in more inflow. Or on the health side, I can go to the gym, right? So I can spend more if I wanted. And so having those healthy habits when it comes to health, personal health, also flows into my money and my business, right? It's the same principles that apply. Having good habits. So then when I get a windfall, I don't even think about, okay, I'm going to go blow this money. I already have a system in place because I use percentages on everything that's already allocated before I even get it. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
To you.
So what I would say is if you were, I wouldn't say spend all your money or you get this $10,000 and you're going to just pay off debt because you're going to go back in debt later whenever the next crisis happens, right? Or credit card comes around and you're like, oh, I want to buy this. And so you go back in debt. So you would allocate percentages maybe to an emergency fund, maybe to other things. Because I've had people who have told me, hey, I'm debt free. I got they yelled the Dave Ramsey thing. And then they're back in debt just a few months later, right? Seems kind of counterintuitive to get back to being a baby anyway, but
Okay. Okay, wait. So I'm just can keep it real.
yeah.
Like right now, do you see the look on my face? It's like
You don't
I'm
like
sitting
money.
across-
You
I
have
feel
to.
like I'm in the principal's office or something.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you have any friends because you know if you came over and you started talking percentages and stuff, I'm just sitting there like, who invited him over here? Lord Jesus.
You
know,
did actually.
because
Yeah.
what is it about finances that just makes you, yeah, you know? I mean, it's like this. I only like finances in the moment of the windfall reception when it's like, what? Oh my God, I'm rich. And
Yep.
then 2 weeks later, oh shit, I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? That back and forth. And then, but why is it, Brandon, that when we sit down to get the intel, the info, it's like, I mean, resistant. Just like, oh God, you're talking, you're preaching. Oh, get it over with. Are you done yet? That kind of thing. How can we make it fun and interesting? Grandma have anything to say about that one?
So I use for my business, I use this thing called Profit First. I have this book. You can see it, Profit First. And what I love about this is it's all about paying yourself first, right?
Okay, I like
Putting
that.
profit
I'm with
into
you.
your business first before you pay everybody else. Now, what I love is every quarter I get a profit distribution from the work that I've done, right? Meaning I get a
A what?
bonus. I get a profit distribution from my own business.
So wait a minute. You and Amanda, your wife, y'all sit up and talk like this. So, honey, is my profit distribution on the way?
Yep.
Oh Lord.
So
Okay.
think about it. Think about it. Do you put money into stocks?
Brian does for us. I have nothing to do with it.
Do you get a distribution from like Ford? If Ford does well, you get a check or something that comes in, dividend, and you're like, hey, Ford did great. I got some money, right? You're like, wow,
I
that's
don't.
awesome. Well,
I mean, I don't even ask about it. I don't care.
Well, he probably knows, right?
He does.
For us as business owners, our biggest investment, and I'm all about investments, but I think that we need to invest in ourselves first, invest in our mindsets first.
Okay.
And as we invest in those things, all the other stuff becomes easier. And then from me in investing in my business becomes more profitable. I get a profit distribution that I can't use to reinvest in my business. It's kind of like a rule of not using it to put it back in the business but I'm using it for fun stuff.
And what's your definition of fun?
I want to get a deck.
Buying that book, Profit First.
A deck or going on a vacation, spending money.
Right? There is a regular side of you. Okay.
Yeah. Like there's things that I want to do, but I also don't want to pay. This is the reality of our world and why we said grandma's wealth wisdom, sometimes intelligence skips a generation. Remember, the greatest generation, we were more producers. What happened in the 70s is we became consumers, right? And the banks said, you want that house? You want that car? Here you go. Here's a card. You can get it. No questions asked. And we end up paying for it with high interest. And then we're on this circle, this treadmill or whatever you want to call it, hamster wheel of trying to get off the hamster wheel. But there's all this high interest that we're paying for something we already got. And we don't even know what the heck we got. We just know we have a credit card bill. So how then to break free of that is looking at percentages, living in the percentage model versus I need to save $200. Whatever I make, if I make $50,000 in a month, I'll save 10%.
Well,
right.
That's easy if you make $50,000 in a month. But what if you only made $2,000?
Percentage.
How you gonna save and your bills at $3,000?
So can you live if it's like, let's say $100 and you get $100 in, can you live off of $99? 1%.
Yeah, I would have to.
Could you live off of 99 if you instead of 100?
Oh, okay. That's a trick question. I already know. Even I can figure that out.
1%. So you start where you can. You don't just start and say, I want to go here. You start with 1%. And then you add to next quarter, maybe you add a percentage. And there's only, again, two things you can do. You can either grow your income, shrink your debts, right? Only two things. So how do you build the best system? Profit first for me and my business makes it easy and clear. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. You can tell I hate this subject, but it's necessary. And this isn't about me.
Well, and do you want the business? You run a business, right?
Yeah.
Do you want that business to pay you?
That is true. Yes, I do. And that's where I was going to go next. What about, as entrepreneurs, I think it's easier for people that go to a job and get a paycheck with a stub and all that stuff's already done for them and this and the other. But for those of us who own our own businesses, I mean, yeah, I have the business checking, I have the business savings, I have the private checking, I have the private savings. But I don't think I do well enough using the tools at my disposal. I've had so many meetings at my bank because my CPA is always like, Lauren, quit mixing apples and oranges, because I'll pull out whatever card comes out and whichever, I'm gonna tell you what it boils down to with me, which one I can remember the PIN number to.
Yep.
And I'm like, what's the PIN number for that? There's a line of people. I said, screw it, I'll figure it out later. And I never do. So then when it comes time to reconcile the books, they're like, Lauren, you might as well just throw all your shit in the shoebox because you're doing the same thing. So my question to you is this. Does a person like me who absolutely hates this stuff, should I just find somebody to just do all of it? Or is it important that I at least have the rudiments down first?
So when it comes to my budget, I don't know anything about the budget. I just know which card to use and not use. Amanda does all the budgeting. I will look at a P&L statement and profit and loss statement, and I want to see, hey, are we making money? Or are we losing money? If we're losing money, then we need to make a change. Making money, and I like that thing. So if you don't have that on your team, you need to have that.
Okay.
Always. And if you don't have that skill set, that is in a business, I believe, one of the major things you need to invest in your business. Because I will tell you, I talk to business owners all the time, and I'll ask them, is this a hobby or is this a business? Because if it's a hobby, treat it like a hobby and be okay with not making any money. If it's a business, then treat it like a business. And if you wanted to, let's say, sell the business, if somebody were to come, are they going to want to look at your numbers? They're going to want to see it and be able to say, is it an asset I want to buy? And I think that we want to have a business that is profitable, but still fun, right? We still want to enjoy it. So if you don't enjoy that part, get somebody that does, so that they can tell you, hey, and this is with your husband, right? He's going to tell you which card to use and which card not to use. It's okay to have boxes that keep you contained a little bit, so that way you can do bigger things, because then you can create bigger boxes.
That makes sense. When we come back from this brief commercial break, I would love for us to kick off the rest of this interview with this one. And I know a lot of people that fall into this category. I don't, because of the computer guy upstairs, Brian, who takes care of everything. But what about that person? I know some people who say they just start grabbing bills and they pay whichever one, they pay the most important ones first, and then decide who doesn't get paid. Now, if a person is in that kind of a situation, is it possible, even though you haven't paid all the bills, to save at the same time? That and more when we return with Brandon Neely of Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. So think about that one, and you think about it to get your questions, your financial questions ready, and we'll address those when we come back. Don't go away. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're here today with Brendan Neely of Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, talking about finances. And anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just not. So here's the question. Is it possible to save money when you don't have enough to pay off all your bills every month? What does a person do? Sometimes we want to do better, but we just can't find our way to pulling the trigger on that.
Yeah. So I think, again, I go back to the percentage model, right? And as far as paying off some of the debts, I want to look at a full, hey, what are the highest debts, highest interest debts? How did they get there in the first place? How do we not go back into bad habits? And remembering that, that whole thing of creating that savings or emergency fund, the things that people don't want to have. They don't want to save for an emergency and spend it on something, whatever.
What's the percentage? What should a person have for an emergency fund? I remember they used to say it was like 3 times your monthly income or something like that. Has that changed since COVID or whatnot? How much should a person have for a rainy day?
I think with COVID, everything is so upside down. And if anybody knows what's what anymore, half the time we don't, right? The rules have just been thrown out the door. What I like to think about, and this is the principles of Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, when it comes to saving, saving is very different than investing. And I save 10% for long-term, meaning my retirement in the future, 10% towards medium term, meaning I might be buying a house in 5 years or something. So I want to do a down payment. 10% towards short term, meaning taxes are going to be due this year.
Oh, no, that means dinner and drinks 2 weekends from now.
Maybe that might be your short term, but then the other factor that I add in is 10% if you're a church person, 10% towards tithing, right? If we give 10% to God before we give to everything else, right? 10% off the top, well, then 10% of those other things should be off the top too. And then we live off of 60%. Now, that seems like a lot, right? Maybe your 60% is like, oh, I can't even live off of that amount of money, right? So then you start with where you are. So it's 5, 5, 5, 5 maybe, or whatever makes sense for you. And then I try and figure out, okay, where do I need to stop the bleeding? The reason we are having the debt crisis or the amount of interest going out, because I talk to clients all the time and I'm like, dude, you're spending $30,000 in interest payments, just interest. And the most profitable business in the world are banks. Whose money are they using to make that? Is it their money? It's somebody else's money. So think like a bank, right? How are the banks doing? They will, you'll go in to a bank, right? And you will ask for money and they'll say, oh yeah, here's a loan. And we'll give it to you for 12%, right? You want to save in that same thing. And it's how much do they give you in money when you put into that same bank account? You don't make that much money, right? When you save, there's no in a savings account, right? There's no incentive for them to pay you there. They make money on the other end. So that's why we use the bank on yourself method of thinking like a bank, using our life insurance policies to turn our money more and more.
Now, Tracy Randolph says the percentage method makes so much sense, but of course she'd say that. She's an accountant. So, I mean, you guys get it, but, the rest of us, mortals, it's not so easy. So what about this one? What about like, okay, on your online banking,
Hmm.
they'll show, I see categories and stuff there every month. Here's how much you spent on entertainment. Here's how much this is what came in. This is what went out. And it's almost like those of us who use social media in our businesses, we do it, but a lot of people don't pay attention to the analytics. They don't follow the grids and ascertain the charts and what's good and what isn't. So when it comes to our online banking, I don't know how the rest of you are, but I know once I get in there, I'm going to see the balance and what cleared and this and the other. And I'm not using even a smidgen of all the other little things that they have in there. I don't even know what they mean,
Yep.
some of those things. So talk about that. How important is it to know? This is a two-part question because I'm going to leave you to talk about it. I'm going to get off the screen because never mind. So that part of the question about our online banking, should we know all of those little things in there, and do they help us?
Hmm.
If not, how do they help us? And then the second part for you is this: when a person finds themselves in a bind with your credit cards and things, is it a good idea to call them and try to work something out? And will they do it, and how that works? So you can take that, whichever one you want to go with first. I'm done with it. There you go.
Yeah. So I think that it all depends, right? So the better your even credit is, right? The
Your
more
what?
your credit. If you have a
What's
good
that?
credit score, your
Credit?
negotiation power is better,
I
right?
don't even know what that is. Credit score. What's
Yeah.
that? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay.
I think
Kind.
that like the more we have negotiating power in a business, the better terms we get. The less that we understand our numbers, they want you to not understand. They want to make it confusing because guess what? The more confusing it is to us, the less we would just kind of go through the circle, that hamster wheel, and we don't get off. Uh,
Okay.
Same with PPP money. I think that there's a lot of businesses that are just getting loans, and it's a loan, right? Not necessarily free money. Same with the stimulus money. People are like, yeah, I got my stimulus. I got this. I'm getting my unemployment checks forever, which is causing a crisis. I think that's going to be huge in the future because we will have to pay for it.
Well, that's
And
kind of what I was getting at with this calling the credit card thing. Because on the front end of COVID, if you remember, I had a lot of clients who were saying, "Oh, this is great." Not COVID, but they were saying, "Oh, this is great." I called my car company or whatever, even mortgages and stuff, and they're letting me skip 2, 3, 4 payments, put them on. And a lot of people did that. Now, the Wizard of Oz upstairs told me, no, we will not do that, And so I just turned my ass around and walked back out of the Emerald City. Back on the yellow brick road I went. And I'm glad now that I didn't, because here's the deal. A lot of us actually found ourselves making more money,
yep.
unexpectedly so, during COVID. But then the bottom line still haven't changed.
Yep. And interest, they never said that interest is going to be stopped, right? You'll still be accruing interest on those. So we need to
Was
start.
that a mistake? People who took them up on that, do you think that was a mistake?
It depends on their situation, right? I would never say yes or no
So
because I don't know their certain situation.
let's just say you knew somebody who did it, say for their car, and
Mhm.
their car payment is $700 a month, and they skipped 2 payments, so $1,400. When they say that you can skip that, when does that come up, and is it all due at once? Do you know how that works?
It
How do they
depends
collect
on
that?
each company. And I would say, okay, so you got 1,400. Did you use it to go to the bar, or did you use it like, because it might have made sense, right? If they used it to put into their business, that then gave them a 50% growth because they invested into their
Infusion.
business,
Mhm.
then that's a positive. If they used it to go to the bar and drink it all away, then that's probably not a good idea. And the problem is, and again, I will go back to what's happened in this past generation. We became spenders, not savers. We became consumers, not creators, right? And so what's happening is they give us a stimulus. Why? So we can go spend more money to keep the economy going.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are going to make it are the ones that understand their numbers, understand when it's a good buy and when it's not. Right. I'll sit on something and wait before I make a big purchase. Right. The housing market, I think, is going to be scary when it collapses, because everybody's buying. I mean, people are selling like crappy houses now, right? For really, really high.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. We're all in Vegas right now, and who knows?
Well, the seller's not gonna lose. It's the buyer.
Yeah, but we are one or the other. Maybe. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, 2008 showed us differences, right? We don't know. We're in a weird world right now. And the reality is banks are telling us one thing, but we need to be able to learn to live within our means and save more. And going back to your analogy or using the gardening, what you water grows, right? What we water grows.
True.
If we want, and this is like paying attention to your money. If we know that that's an important piece, then we're going to water it. We're going to learn even though it's eating the frog and we hate it, but if we know that, we'll build more freedom because we're watering that.
What about the person or people who feel like this was me once upon a time, but now I got Brian. I don't trust myself. And every time I put money in a little separate account, as long as I can see it on the screen, it's there. I try to close my eyes. That's not there. That's not there. That's not there. Next thing you know, it's gone. It really isn't there because I took it and spent it. Because I'm like, I got that over there.
Yep.
What I'm asking is this: when a person, oh Lord, senior moment. See, I can't stand money talk, but I got to do it. I'm fighting my way through. Oh Lord. Okay. Oh, safe places to invest money, because you've already told us and taught us that saving and investing are two separate entities. But to invest, I have a lot of young people in my life who
go in crypto. Just kidding.
That's it. No, that's what I was going to. They're all in this crypto Bitcoin thing, doing these things. And I have a client who told me just yesterday was Monday. Yeah. I made a quick 12,000 Friday, on crypto. I had a crypto deal, blah, blah, blah. Now let's talk about that. Is that for just young people? Is that what's going on? Is that a thing? How do you feel about that? Is that the devil, or is that a real good thing to take a look at and learn how to do it?
So again, I do a lot with high cash value life insurance. One of those words that people hate too, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely not in the market or this or that." And I've heard so many things about it, but yet for me, it's built a good stability to be able to do more investing. Now, my term on investments is I invest in my business right now a lot more into the business and putting into that because I know my ROI will be bigger than other things. And I think that investing in yourself, if you know crypto, then go for it, right? But most people are, what do they call it? Armchair investors. They don't know what the heck they're doing. They're just following the herd, and everyone else is doing crypto, so they should do crypto. And then that's when it gets scary. When you have no idea what the heck you're doing, and you're just following everybody else. When everybody else is doing something, that's when to change and do something different.
Well, Dr. Fortman says crypto is the currency of the future. It could be, but I'm gonna just keep it real. The thing about, I just don't like the name because I think cryptic. I'm like, oh, something ain't right. Crypto.
I've had clients lose money because their computer got stolen, right? They didn't have access to it. So I've seen all kinds of things. And again, if you understand it, but I think it has its place. But what has happened, and this is again going to the foundation, is most people are building their financial pyramids upside down, right? And they're like, oh, I need to invest in crypto. I need to do this. I need to put in this stock or that stock. And they're not building a solid foundation. When you can build a solid foundation and you have liquidity and access, regardless of what happens, if COVID happens again or something else, and I'll be fine because I know I have some stability. And you invest what you can afford to lose. So that way, if one of our people from Tesla decides to do a tweet and we lose all of it, we're not freaking out saying, oh, I lost all this money, and then we do all kinds of crazy stuff, People have done that, and I think it's kind of crazy.
Robert Brooker says, I don't have any extra, but developing a habit of investing was something I did incorporate into my life. And I think that's a great idea. Speaking of investing, any suggestions on the safest places right now to invest a few dollars towards your retirement? Where would for a person getting started and really is now like, I better do better with this, or I'm going to be eating cat food when I'm in my 70s. Where would you suggest a person start that is safe and reliable to put some dollars away towards the sunset season?
Yeah, I mean, I see people all the time who are in their 70s and they are freaking out. And I'm like, man, it's too late. I don't know what to tell you. And don't be chasing the rate of return.
If you're going to invest, get a tent because you'll be living in one in a couple months. Is that kind of how it goes?
I think it's don't be chasing rate of returns. Figure out what you need. And again, I'm a safe money specialist. I want to make sure that you have the safety and security. And that's why I do whole life insurance and the infinite banking concept. So that way you can make bigger investments. And I think that as we're talking to a lot of entrepreneurs here, your biggest investment is you. So if you don't know something, invest in a way to figure out how to know it better, right? So money courses, things like that will help you long run because it's not going to be tied to Tesla stock or whatever. It's going to be tied to you, and you will probably see bigger dividends. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I was just sitting here going, I was thinking about how before I got married, my retirement plan was sucking up to one of my nieces or nephews that's making a lot of money in their career so I can live upstairs in one of their extra rooms when I'm Uncle Pete, when I'm old, just drop a meal in front of the door, knock on the door, let me know what's there, change my diaper every now and then. I am not manifesting that. I rebuke you. I don't know where that comment came from, but a lot of people don't think about it.
That's the problem. So I am talking to a lot of my clients who are taking care of mom and dad. Mom and dad are screwed. And they say, well, inflation hasn't hit yet. Like, well, cost of long-term care is inflated very high. And no one has thought about that because, oh my gosh, there's no positive rate of return in long-term care. But that's where a lot of our wealth is going to be taken away and given to those places. So having a good strategy of the what ifs is very important because, again, I'm a caretaker of somebody who's 71 years old, right? I have to deal with their negligence that they did in the past, right? Luckily, they have a little bit, but somebody's going to have to figure it out.
To fill
Otherwise,
in
they're
the
homeless
gap.
on the streets.
So last question at this hour, incredibly so, has actually come to an end. Oh, I'm just saying. It's like, oh my God, I need a nap after this. Oh, my head is just clouded with
I know
information.
I
but
do
in a
that to
good way.
people, especially
What?
my wife. My wife, happens all the time. Just kidding.
So listen, last question is this. And see, oh my Lord, you put so much stuff up in my head, I can't even keep straight. What was the last question? Anybody remember? Anybody?
Probably about gardening.
No, it was about money. I forgot what it was. It was a good one too. Now my grandma was here talking about grandma's wealth wisdom. My grandma always said, it must have been a lie. That's why you can't remember it. That was her answer to everything. Oh, you can't remember? That's because you were getting ready to lie. I don't know where they got that stuff back then. But anyway, Brendan, so moving forward, any words of wisdom for people? Oh, I know what the question was. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lord, for bringing it back. For people who because of COVID have found themselves, they're like, a lot of people are really struggling. They got high credit card debt, this and the other. Last comment, let's do it in 60 seconds if we can. When does a person know that it's time to go to the bankruptcy lawyer? How do you know? And a lot of people think that's just a chance to write everything off and start fresh. Is there a cost? Is there a long-term, something you're going to pay for filing bankruptcy?
So I just watched a thing on This Week Tonight or something like that on bankruptcy. It's a good video. Look up This Week Tonight bankruptcy.
What's it called?
It's a show called This Week Tonight.
This Week Tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And the thing is, you think about bankruptcies and all of that. Who usually makes a lot of money off of it? Attorneys, right? And we can get in a bigger bind by doing bankruptcy or thinking I'm going to just get rid of all my debt, but yet you have college debt or something else. So that isn't going to be taken away. So thinking about it as a last resort. And again, it goes back to your mindset. You got there somehow. You screwed up somewhere. How do you fix that? Because anytime somebody goes through bankruptcy, I think they might go through it again.
And a lot of people who filed it can say the first time, the second time, the third time. Jason Cisneros talks about that. I think he filed bankruptcy 3 times before he got it right. So
because he finally changed mindset, I bet you. Something changed within him, and he said, "I'm not doing this anymore." And
he went from bankruptcy to being the bank.
Yep. And when it comes here, it's mindset and knowing your numbers. And when you start, you have more control that way. So when you think about it, is I want as much control as I can possibly get in my business and in my life. Okay. Don't let somebody else control your future.
Well, if you do need someone to help you control your future, then I suggest highly you head over to grandmaswealthwisdom.com. It's on the screen right now, or you can find them on Facebook. There it is at Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. And finally, go watch all of the great content that they have on their YouTube channel, Grandma's Wealth Wisdom.
And if you're doing YouTube and you have a business, check out the Profit First playlist.
There you go. It's all there. Okay, Brandon, Brunden. There, I covered them all. Oh, that sounded like, never mind. Geekin, Goggin, Google. Remember that? Never mind. You guys, I hope you guys do better than I when it comes to just finding a place inside of you where no matter if you're not a numbers person, at least connect yourself with people like Brandon and Amanda Neely, who are numbers people, who can take you by the hand, make it not so daunting, make it not some big monstrous thing under the bed, and help us to each do just a little bit better. A little bit of something is always going to bode better than a whole lot of nothing. Don't do like I did for decades and be afraid to go into your banking. Just say, I'll deal with it when it gets here. It never worked out, and it probably never would. So do better in order to live and be better. Brandon, thank you so much. I really appreciate you stepping up. My best to Amanda, and I can't believe how big your little boy has gotten. I saw pictures this morning. He looks like he's 2.
3.
He's 3?
3 years old already.
Oh my God. I remember when he was just a papoose, you know?
Yep.
Thank you. What is that? Look what I printed.
A bill?
Absolutely nothing. I don't know what that was. So anyway, Brandon, thank you again, and we'll get you back. Anything that you want to tell us that's coming up that we can keep an eye out for or go directly for over on your connectors?
I think just we're doing live videos every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Check that out.
Okay.
We're just trying to help people.
That's on the website?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay. On YouTube. There we go. All right.
Yep.
All right. That's everybody. Get out there. Have the best day ever. Remember, in order to be the blessing you want to receive in the world, just make sure that you leave every person in every situation you encounter a little bit better than the way you found it. I'll meet you guys out front tomorrow morning, God willing, at 8 a.m. Central for our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Tomorrow, I'm bringing back table tennis phenomenon. Wally Green, he has the world's first table tennis bar in New York City, where you can come, have a drink, and play ping pong, table tennis with some of the best in the world. He's here tomorrow again, and we're going to talk about his one-man mission to North Korea, where he left everything behind and went in and played the North Korean champion, purposely lost just to make a point and to prove that love extends all borders. We'll talk about that and more tomorrow morning. I hope you can join us. Get out there and have a great, great day. And thank you for showing us your soul. Brandon, have a great one. God bless you all. Be good.
Bye.
Show me your soul.